Hello, this is Fear Dragon coming at you with another StarCraft 2 cast. Today it's going to be a Protoss versus Terran, so let's just jump right into it. So up here in the top right hand corner of Shakuras Plateau, we have the red Protoss, Makomi. And his opponent over here in the bottom left hand corner of Shakuras Plateau, we have the blue Terran, AZN. Likely short for Asian, as he wants to channel his inner Korean to make sure that he can, do those oh-so-imba Korean drops, as, spoiler alert, some has happened a few times in some recent tournaments that might have caused a couple of Terrans to win a couple of games against Protoss. Not gonna say any more than that, but anyways, we do see pretty standard looking stuff right now. It looks like that supply depot going down for AZN, and this pylon down for Minecraft. Minecraft, as I've said before in some previous videos, is actually an alternative account for a Purdue Collegiate Star League player known as Makomi. So he's currently playing as alternate account, also in Masters, so likely AZN as well, also in Masters. Now we do see this barracks coming down, and meanwhile it looks like this little probe over here is going to be trying to scout around, ended up looking at the top base, didn't really find anything, gonna go ahead and scout to the bottom left hand corner, make sure that there are no intruders on his home planet right now, but alas, there is this intruder, so he must find blood. Oh, find blood from the first person he sees and attack this poor little SCV. This poor little probe, though, getting ganged up, as he is just a scout. He doesn't want to have any of it. He's going to run away and maybe find some vital scouting information for his home planet so that maybe he can help out with this war that is about to begin. And of course, what use is this probe if it does not return home with the information just gathered? This SCV realizing that they move at the exact same speed, so it's going to have a hard time trying to kill off that probe. Meanwhile, at the same time, we do see the cybernetics coming down for Minecraft, so that does mean he will be able to expand pretty soon if he decides to. Shakuras Plateau, generally a map where you see players going for one gate expansions. Makomi or Minecraft also saw that there was in fact no gas taken, so he's definitely going to expect that there is this expansion coming down right now, or some kind of big marine pressure all in. So usually I would say that Minecraft will probably assume it's the expansion rather than the big all-in, as the all-in isn't too common, but you never can be too careful. So anyways, it looks like Minecraft deciding not quite to get the expansion just yet. Now moving this probe down, he is going to try and harass this SCV, who's going to... Actually, this SCV feeling like it's going to be a probe in a Protoss versus Zerg matchup. Going to drop down the building to block the expansion. A very interesting choice. I actually haven't seen this for quite a while now. The Stalker is going to come out. It's going to be able to pick off that SCV. But Makomi likely wanted to expand. We can see here he's already sitting at 500 minerals. So really going to be very annoying for Makomi. He wanted to expand quite a while ago. He's actually building up quite a few minerals. I almost wish that he maybe would have opted to build another gateway or something to make up for this. Maybe get his second gas geyser instead of just sitting there waiting for the expansion to go up. Now spending that money finally and getting that expansion down. But we can see AZN's expansion is already finished and is now morphing into an orbital command. There is a small transfer of SCVs, so that will help out getting this expansion up and running as soon as possible. Meanwhile, we do see the great control from Minecraft picking off that SCV with this initial Stalker. He's going to use that for a little bit of map control while he tags this little Zelnaga tower. That'll give him a really decent vision of the map. Meanwhile, it looks like the Stalker is going to go ahead and poke. We're going to have to see how much damage can it do. This bunker is going to stop this Stalker from really going out and seeing anything of vital information. He didn't even really get to see the expansion. That is one typical thing on this map that's very annoying for Protoss players, as if they just place the bunker here, it's very difficult to ever see whether that expansion is there. And again, I did say before, Makomi does not know whether or not AZN is currently actually even expanded. He might be going for that Marine all in, and Makomi actually has to be a little bit careful. He does not want to lose this initial stalker. It is going to be very important for warding off this kind of early Marine aggression that AZN is opting to do. Now we do see the probe did already run home to its friends, a little bit afraid, but it looks like this stalker is not running home to its friends. It's just running back for reinforcements so it can take on this big Marine ball, and these Marines are definitely going to be picked off with a little bit of micro. We can already see here from Makomi doing some good micro and a little bit of target fire mishap from AZN, allowing those Marines to chase after that low health stalker for just a little bit too long. Now we do see these 4 stalkers are going to go ahead and tag this Xel'Naga tower, and then probably head on up and do as little or as much harassment as he can. But we do see this Marauder is out. We do also see Stim is on the way. No concussive shells quite yet. But, you know, Makomi does not know that. He has to be a little bit careful with these stalkers. He's not going to try and get too greedy by poking them up and potentially losing them. There is this very annoying little Marine over here. I think he actually might have killed a probe, in fact. But, you know, these sentries are going to be able to clean that up. We do see all the gas geysers down from Makomi and a robotics facility already produced. That observer is going to come out and he's going to get the scout off that none of these stalkers really were able to do. As we can see here, again, not much scouting was done. And of course, at this point, Makomi is relatively certain that there was, in fact, that expansion that came down. So he's going to feel pretty good about that. Meanwhile, we do see in the factory and starport count, we do see this one factory. I don't see a starport quite yet though. So oh, there's the starport and the reactor coming down on the factory. So that's just going to be going to go ahead and go down so that AZN can go ahead and get those reactor medevacs out. And of course Makomi scouting with this observer that was oh so important, very vital scout. That was just done right there. Makomi doesn't have to be quite as worried about a big Marine Marauder timing push. This is actually the kind of time push I was talking about, although it's a little bit smaller and it comes out a little bit earlier. Now Makomi will have to be careful. He did see it with that stalker, and he does have about 5 sentries, so we'll be able to force field off any of these big attacks. There is Stim finish though, so he has to make sure that he gets his force fields down at the exact right time. Make sure that nothing big happens. These not letting too many units up. So we're gonna have to see whether or not he can do that. Gonna continue to warp in a couple of zealots. I do like this choice. And we do see the units coming in. There is a scan to try and pick off whatever vulnerable units there are, but Makomi very wisely having his units sectioned off a little bit further back. Actually traveling a couple of units, but losing 2 of his sentries. That's actually a huge loss for Makomi right now. That is going to cut down on the amount of force field he can throw down. He should be okay to hold this off though, as he did pick off quite a few units from AZN. But still, Makomi really losing those sentries a little bit unnecessarily. Maybe should have thrown down a couple of extra force fields over at the front. Now we do see the Colossus now, and that's definitely going to put an end to this pressure. Now Makomi is going to go ahead and chase these units a little bit, but eventually he will not be able to keep up with those units as they are still stemmed and now just running. Stalkers actually might be able to pick off 1 or 2 of these units, so I do actually like this decision. But no, now deciding, hey, I'm going to just play it a little bit safe. Don't want to get caught too far off guard by any reinforcing units. This factory scouting for a 3rd. AZN wants to make sure, oh, actually not just scouting for the 3rd, gonna probably just try and block the 3rd. So it looks like AZN really a fan of blocking the expansions with his buildings. This probe is going to go ahead and scout out that factory block, so wouldn't be too surprised if we saw this army go ahead and kill off that factory, or at least force a lift. Now we do see a missile turret coming down from AZN. AZN did see that Colossus, so you shouldn't have to be too worried. Not sure how necessary this turret is, but it's good to see that this player is in fact playing safe, doesn't want to lose to some kind of very strange Dark Templar transition. Meanwhile, we do see the factory, or sorry, the starport producing those Vikings. Very important to have those Vikings produce when wanting to deal with those Colossus. Now it looks like AZN's army is moving out. He's going to try and put on another wave of aggression. This time, still no actually medevacs, but he will have those Vikings. Oh, actually, it does look like AZN just moving out to secure this 3rd which is actually completed, now morphing to an orbital command, while Makomi, because of that factory block, was not able to expand again when he wanted to. So I really like these plays from AZN, just doing the slightest delays to Makomi's ability to really get out those expansions, and even etching out those leads in the worker counting station. We can see it's 66 to 51 SCVs, and you know, it's really just showing that AZN wants to play the economic game. And I think that's really a smart play, especially if this on this map where it's very easy to take multiple expansions. We do see Makomi going ahead and getting out those +1/+1 upgrades, now also being chrono boosted out. So that does mean, of course, for now he is sitting at, oh, actually it was it must be +1/+2, so +2 armor on the way and +1 weapons. Meanwhile, if we take a look at the upgrades, it looks like +1/+1 already finished, just now starting +2/+2 from AZN. So he's going to have a pretty fierce army, but he does want to get that medevac count up a little bit. He is still producing Vikings, and more Vikings. But I have to emphasize how important those medevacs are for the Terran army. We can see here a couple of low health units from AZN, as those units have been using stim and have been in previous engagements. So he does want to get at least a couple of medevacs out to make sure that he will be able to stim and eventually heal up those units that do stim and survive the battles. Now Makomi actually already mining from his 5th and 6th gas geysers. This is going to really imply that he wants to focus on that tech transition, and we can see over here it's going to be very important to have that gas, as he is researching Psystorm. He is going to be morphing out those High Templar in just a second. Here we see the first High Templar being morphed out. So if AZN does not take heed for getting those medevacs out or getting ghosts out, and we do see actually ghosts out, so very nice timing for that. But he's going to have to be very careful, as these Psystorms will deal insane amounts of damage if the Bioforce from AZN does not have the ability to heal itself back up. We do finally see 2 medevacs being produced a little bit late, and actually Makomi also being very careful. I guess he's also expecting that there should be more medevacs out at this point, has these units and these stalkers positioned over here in the main to prevent any drops, has a couple of proxy pylons to scout for those medevacs moving, and AZN already taking that 4th expansion, a very, very economic play. And it looks like now he's also going to knock down those rocks to make sure he can deal with maybe any War Prism harass or just any kind of harassment that might come in from Makomi. So this is not just a, I hope Makomi doesn't come out and scout my expansion. No, this is a very solid play from AZN. So really happy to see that, and it looks like Psystorm is finished, as well as a lot of Colossus for Makomi. We can see here in the unit counting station, we are up to 5 Colossus and 4 High Templar, a nice spread as well to make sure that his army cannot just get immediately EMP'd. But Makomi does not know about this 4th expansion that's already down, so he's going to have to be very careful and has to make sure that he does in fact keep up in his economic front. We do see here Makomi doing a very good job in keeping up with the workers, now up to 76. And we see in the production tab additional Colossus, that +3 armor getting finished up for Makomi, and I guess +3 weapons going to be starting immediately after that, actually even getting the +1 shields. I really do like that decision. Hey, if you have the forge and it's about to finish up on the +3 weapons or 3 armor, then you might as well use it to get those shields. Now we do see this base now fully up and operational for AZN, so Makomi is going to start suffering here in the economic front. As we can see here, AZN already building up a little bit more of a bank than Makomi, just a little bit quicker as he is mining off of more bases. Could use a little bit more saturation here at his natural expansion, but still looking very good. Now we also see both of these players a little bit afraid to go ahead and engage, even though they've both been maxed out. They both want to save up a little bit of bank, but no, it looks like Makomi wants to scout out a little bit, see what he can do with these stalkers. Does have that blink, so he will be able to escape without taking any losses. Does take a little bit of hull damage though on those stalkers, so that might play a little bit of an effect into the eventual game. But look, I love how these players are playing this out. Makomi spreading out all of his units because he is fearful of those EMPs. Meanwhile, AZN, fearful of those High Templar, is spreading out all of his units as well. So preemptively splitting, a very important thing that you can do. And actually, ooh, a very good win from AZN, picking off that Observer. That will mean that these ghosts who now actually have Cloak will be able to cloak in, maybe do a little bit of EMPing action on these High Templar, but the High Templar are very well spread out, so we're going to have to see how good these EMPs can be. We are seeing just one ghost very carefully going in and seeing what damage it can do. You'll likely just try and maybe send off, oh, actually a snipe going out for one of those High Templar, sniping out a second High Templar, Storm being forced to be used, and actually killing off a third High Templar in just a second. Oh my god, this is massive amount of damage for just one ghost. And Makomi now even having only 3 High Templar left. 4 actually, I believe, 1 just morphed in. But now that Observer is out, he was able to do a little bit of damage, but these Colossus are going to start to engage, and the Zealots charging in. The Ghost doing massive amounts of damage, getting a great EMP off, and nailing all of the High Templar's energy out. Now the Colossus, only things that are left, nothing to buffer the damage, and it looks like AZN is going to start to push Minecraft back, and the Zealots are going to come in as the reinforcements, and they do have charge, and they are 2, 1, 3, so they are going to do quite a bit of damage, even though these Marines and Marauders are +3/+3 and have these medevacs. But again, Charge Zealots, very, very scary late game. We can see here how much damage those Charge Zealots are able to do. Wow. But, you know, still being able to clean that up, he is going to be able to likely force a cancel on Minecraft's next expansion until Minecraft can start to warp in additional units. We do see 3 Colossus, wow, being produced, but this Viking count is going to produce a lot of issues for Minecraft. We do see a couple of Archons as well being produced, so they will be able to deal a little bit of damage to these Vikings. No, not really able to pick off too many of them, but we see so many Zealots, as looks like Minecraft opting to use all of his gas on those High Templar for building Archons as well as those Colossus, but he will need that Stalker count to eliminate these Vikings so that those Colossus can really do maximal amount of damage. We see over here Minecraft now up to just 1 Colossus, about to finish 3 of them. So that will be a nice little win for him. Now he is finishing up, or starting a +2 armor, and it looks like AZN going ahead and taking his 5th expansion. So again, continuing with that economic lead. Again, he still has that bank and is maxed out, while it looks like Minecraft is just a little bit supply short of maxing out, but still doesn't have that bank. And oh, I do like this play now. AZN finally getting to that money army composition, and also that money economic position where he can afford to sacrifice those SCVs to make sure that he has a larger army instead. So that means that when both of these players are maxed out, AZN will actually have a larger army. Oh my god, all of the ghosts getting picked off there. Oh, AZN being so careful the last one, but I'll hold that thought and say, hey, the Zealots are charging in. They're going to do huge amounts of damage. The High Templar now have the storms that they need to turn the tides of this battle. So many Archons as well. The Colossus doing great amount of damage, as all of the Vikings have pretty much been picked off. Only 3 left and all in the red. Now the Archons will be able to pick those off as well. But it looks like the reinforcements from AZN have come out, and they will be able to do a good amount of damage and force these Archons back just a little bit until Makomi finally gets some reinforcing units, and then they're going to say, hey, guess what? We're +3 Archons. We do 47 damage to you guys. I think that's almost 1-shots a Marine. Yeah, that's about 2-shotting Marines. So, wow, Makomi now storming in, and it's going to be up to AZN to hold off this aggression until he can start to reproduce some of those units. I am actually just a little bit afraid that he doesn't have enough infrastructure to start rebuilding his units quite fast enough. He does have 14 Marines being produced at once, as well as a couple of Marauders and some Vikings, but it might not be enough. Makomi does deny this expansion from mining any further, so that's going to cause some huge issues. Wow, but it looks like these players are going to let me catch my breath for just a split second. We can go over here and go see, wow, this is a lot of barracks, but you know, I'm just not sure if it's quite enough, as Makomi is reproducing his army just a little bit faster than AZN, and AZN's bank is almost gone. He has just so much gas, and he should be producing some of those ghosts. As we can see here, he is starting to produce a couple of those ghosts, but I think he's going to need a few more to make sure he lands those money EMPs. And in that last battle, the really vital thing that happened for Makomi was that all of those ghosts got immediately picked off, didn't get a single EMP off, maybe one on some of the zealots, but not the damage that he needed. And I have to say, in the first engagement that these two had, the first really big one, AZN played it so smart. He sent out that one ghost, was able to pick off 3 High Templar, but sent one ghost out in fear that Minecraft would in fact have his observer out in the front and would be able to pick off those ghosts. But this time he sent all of his ghosts in, and it really cost him that actual battle, I have to say. He could have done so much damage to those ghosts, nullified the High Templars, and really just cut down all the shields for these Archons that end up doing so much damage. We can see here, these Archons, even though they don't actually have an insane number of kills, and wow, that's actually a lot of Archons, but they have tanked so much damage, as well as these Zealots tanking damage, while the Colossus were able to get a pretty substantial number of kills. Now we do see over here AZN trying to reclaim that economic advantage, as a couple of his expansions have been shut down, so he's going to go ahead and try and sneak an expansion up here. So it's going to be very interesting. This that AZN is backed into a corner a bit. We can see here he's already down in 50 supply. And oh, this is the stuff I was talking about. Sending out just one ghost, getting as much damage as possible, picks off one High Templar and EMPs the rest of them. We'll see here over here if I can get a hold of this High Templar. Yeah, we only see enough energy for 2 storms, so that's going to cause huge problems and delay this push a little bit from Minecraft. He can't even really produce those High Templar, so they're going to have to sit and regain the energy, as it looks like Minecraft is in fact maxed. And of course, delaying this push is exactly what AZN wants to do, as he does want to get up the army to potentially crush Makomi's army. But Makomi, playing it smart out as well, deciding, hey, as long as I am maxed out, I can go ahead and expand and build up my bank so that I can immediately reinforce with my insane number of gateways. Wow, look at this. Almost 19 or so gateways, and actually a couple more SCVs being sacrificed, as you know, AZN does have that advantage of having mules. Really only needs the SCVs to be mining those minerals, as those will be the important things. The SCVs need to mine the gas, as those will be the important thing. The mules can mine the minerals, so he doesn't really need too many. And again, I do like that AZN is reconsidering his play and making sure that he sends out just 1 or 2 ghosts at a time. This ghost already getting a couple of good snipes off, so he was able to pick off 1 High Templar, I do believe. But again, AZN starting to fall behind economically. He's using all of his money to reproduce his army, while Makomi is just saying, hey, I can just continue to reproduce more gateways. I can just maybe make a couple of observers and just save my bank so that I can instantly remax as soon as I lose my army in the next big engagement. So a very slow and methodical play from Minecraft, just as AZN was doing before. And just sending out a little bit of a strike force over here from Minecraft, and he will easily be able to shut down this expansion, which was already running a little bit low on the minerals. And oh, actually sending out another strike force, seeing what damage he can do to pick off a couple of those ghosts. Not really getting the best engagement over there. Does lose a couple of zealots, but does stop the entire army from AZN from moving down. And actually, that's one thing I hadn't really considered too much, is that these High Templar are going to be so beautiful and pivotal for stopping AZN's army from moving down. AZN is the one that has to move down at some point, as Minecraft is really mining down the entire base. But as soon as AZN does try to move down, Minecraft can throw down those very key psi storms right on the ramp, and it's going to be very difficult for AZN to really do anything about it. He's going to have to either get in or get out. So we do see AZN looking like he does want to move out. He gets some very good EMPs on some of the Archons, but we do see the entire stim from that army of AZN baiting it out a little bit. Oh my god, the storms doing a massive amount of damage to the Viking count, actually. And AZN a little bit sad after that engagement, I have to feel, as he doesn't really have the medevacs to replenish that stimmed army. But the Archons are coming in now. There are no more High Templar. Oh, the High Templar are in the back, but they're getting sniped. The Colossus is going to do a lot of damage, but no, it gets picked off. There is no more energy for Storm, it looks like, but the Archons doing a lot of damage, but they're just not enough. The Marine and the Marauders out DPS the entire army of Minecraft. Those key snipes knocking out all of the High Templar and those EMPs, allowing AZN to finally move down. Now he's going to be able to move out with this huge force, but it looks like somewhere, I'm sure, Minecraft has reproduced quite a bit of his army. Where is it? Oh no! Minecraft a little bit slacking in how much of his army he's been able to reproduce. Maybe should have been producing additional gateways, and it looks like this army is just going to march straight up, but it has been simmed to death. He's going to have to be very careful. He needs to let these medevacs catch up and start to heal up this army. He will do the very smart thing and go for those production facilities. He has to be very careful. Oh my god, that's so many High Templar. He has to be insanely careful that he does not let his army get stormed. He is doing a little bit of splitting up and using those, oh my god, so many storms going down, picking up a lot of the army of AZN. AZN doesn't really have the economy to reproduce this army. He's almost stuck with just a little bit of what he's got and maybe be able to produce barely anything, but this Colossus is out. These High Templar are going to be so pivotal in holding off this a push or an aggression, but the medevac count is completely dwindled. And oh no, the High Templar managed to get the storm down on the last of those Vikings. Now the medevac count down to just 4, and all of them lacking all energy. The sentry out for blood wants to kill off all of these medevacs, but I don't think he'll get the chance to. Meanwhile, we do see that AZN was able to reproduce a bit of an army, but Minecraft really being the one that's able to reproduce the most of the army, as he's sitting on so much gas. Look at this. This is about 11 High Templar plus these 4 Archons. That's an additional 6. So 17 or so High Templar being produced there. That's going to spell huge disaster for AZN, who's looking to make a comeback in this game. But again, does not have the economy, doesn't even really have the SCVs, only 10 SCVs to start mining. He needs to start calling down some of those mules as he has plenty of gas. I don't even think he should be using SCVs to mine gas. He really needs to actually do something about that. Now trying to pick off this expansion over here from Minecraft, but I don't think it's going to be worth it. He's trying to pick off some of the units now as he tries to run back, maybe meet some of his reinforcements to get, but again, he's lacking that medevac count, actually getting his last medevac completely eliminated, and the storm's going down. That's going to spell the end of his army, and that's going to spell GG from AZN. What a wonderful game. So well played from both of these players. We did see very, very smart and very relaxed and well thought out play, and I have to say the word that describes both of these players in this game was very patient. AZN being very patient when he saw, okay, you know what, I have the economic advantage. I'm going to continue to edge out that economic advantage by, you know, getting my 3rd earlier than my opponent. Then I'm going to also make sure I get my natural first, and then his 3rd, then his 4th. He's just constantly edging out that economic advantage, saying, yeah, I'll eventually be able to beat him. I'll eventually be able to beat him, and I'll eventually have the economy to basically beat Minecraft. And finally, with that final key engagement that really forced AZN back, Minecraft being the patient one, waiting out here and saying, hey, I have the entire map, I have map control, I'm going to sit and wait, and you know what, he can't move down this until he kills off all of my High Templar or EMPs, all of them. So I'm just going to do a really good job splitting and make sure that he can't come out. I'm going to wait for him to come to me before I decide to go out. So very well played by both of these players. Wow. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this game. Please leave any feedback or comments you have in the comments below. And if you have any replays that you do want casted, I am casting all of them. You can send them to feardragon64@gmail.com. I hope you guys enjoyed this, so I'll let you guys go. I'll see you later, and thanks for tuning in. Bye-bye, guys.